मतलब कोई बाइक बुक कर लेता हूँ जनरली और बाइक वाले के पीछे बैठ करके पूरा सिटी घूमता हूँ. So I enjoy doing all of that. बहुत गलत हिस्ट्री पढ़ाया है स्कूल में भी हमें.
Right.
I graduated BCom, CA, CS, CFA, FRM, CAIA, CFP, CIPM, RV, CCRA, CIRA, CIIB, AIM. सीए इंटर के बाद समझ में आया कि आई वांट टू स्टडी फाइनेंस. टैक्स इज नॉट समथिंग दैट आई एंजॉय. ब्रह्म मुहूर्त के बाद का समय, सुबह का समय आई एम स्पेंडिंग ऑन 6 to 10 o'clock in the college. 3 years. उतना तो पता नहीं किसी और चीज के लिए किया है कि नहीं.
Exactly.
Student of the year is not how world work. In the classroom I was fairly a backbencher. तो उस समय अब किसी का बर्थडे है या कॉलेज में कुछ आउटिंग हो रहा है, भाड़ में गया सब कुछ. I am studying at home. I think teaching just came inherently. So if your subject knowledge, if your knowledge base is good, so even if you hesitate maybe in the first 5 minutes of a lecture, let's say, but you are eventually going to do very well. I start studying, working, thinking, writing at 6 or 7 in the morning itself on my day. सबका अपना journey होता है in terms of spirituality and in terms of worship and the way they want.
Right.
So I have a more curious mind where I want to learn, I want to read, and I want to analyze, and I want to logically think about it. And when I'm talking about the Bhagavad Gita, it is absolutely talking about life management. Difficult times make strong men.
Do you think that Gita should be incorporated in our syllabus? Hello everyone, welcome back to Time Capsule, the podcast where we try to bottle up the knowledge from the most amazing people and shake it with a little curiosity and chaos. Today we are honored to have among us the Tycoon of teaching world, someone who has enough degree to fill the resume twice over, and he teaches thousands, consults for the giant, and yet take out time to drop value bombs on Instagram and YouTube. Today we are here not to have a normal conversation, but a real talk with none other than Mr. Aswini Bajaj. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me and that wonderful introduction you just gave me. And I'm a little nervous myself because you want to have a very real kind of a conversation.
Yes.
So you want to get on to the more on the personal side. So let's see.
So, sir, starting with, can you list all your degrees?
Okay. So I graduated BCom, CA, CS, CFA, FRM, CAIA, CFP, CIPM, RV, CCRA, CIRA, CIIB, AIM.
Okay. So, sir, before we started with the podcast, we called a bunch of students in our college and we asked them what is that one question they wanted to ask Aswini Bajaj.
Okay.
And starting with the most obvious question, sir, aap ek nahi, do nahi, you have 15 degrees.
13, 12, 13.
Yeah. So, why did you choose to do so many degrees?
So, I've got this question very often. So, पहला तो ये था कि when I was studying in school class 9, 10, 11, 12, I knew that I have to study well and I have to build a career for myself.
Right.
So graduation के साथ में उसमें the obvious choice was that you start with a CA. Law theory उतना नहीं पसंद था, but there was marginal effort extra needed to do CS. So CS foundation, CA foundation happened together. CA and CS inter also happened together, and that's another story. So nobody in my batch was able to do CS at the time I was able to foundation inter.
Okay.
वो कुछ एक अलग ही स्टोरी है कि कुछ एक तरीके से रजिस्टर हो गया, नथिंग अनएथिकल इन ऑल. वो जैसे आईएससी में हम लोग का एक रजिस्ट्रेशन कार्ड और एडमिट कार्ड होता था, तो एडमिट कार्ड से रजिस्टर होना चाहिए, बट आई वाज एबल टू गेट इट डन थ्रू रजिस्ट्रेशन कार्ड एंड एडमिट कार्ड मुझे बाद में सबमिट करना पड़ा. So that was happening. Then CA inter से I understood कि finance is my calling and that's what I want to study.
Okay.
So that is where CFA started. And CFA होने के बाद में फिर समझ में आया कि उसमें और स्पेशलाइज करने का मन है and I want to study everything with regards to finance. So FRM is risk and CAIA is alternate investments, and मैं oil and gas में भी काम कर रहा था, तो that was also one of the reasons कि मैं CAIA की तरफ गया. And उसके बाद CFP में मुझे exemptions मिल रहे थे and that exemption was gonna exhaust.
Okay.
So कि I'll have to just take the last paper and उसके बाद से they were going to stop that. So like अभी दे दो, फिर बाद में बहुत सारे पेपर्स देने पड़ेंगे. CIPM इंस्टीट्यूट एक डिस्काउंट दे रहा था तो बोल करके रजिस्टर कर दिया, फिर पढ़ना पड़ गया मुझे. And then there are 4 papers which I took जहाँ पर मैं इंस्टीट्यूट के लिए इवेल्युएट कर रहा था कि एग्जाम क्वालिटी कैसा है.
Okay.
So I had to evaluate the exam quality and also I ended up authoring the book and preparing the question paper of the exam for that institute.
Wow.
So I was like कि जब मुझे करना ही है तो let me take the exam first hand only instead of just going through the exam. Let me take the exam and see. So कई exams के लिए मैंने नई पढ़ाई की है and then so and obviously it's in my profession, so if I'm teaching and if I'm guiding students, it becomes important कि मैंने किया है. तो एक from a, I don't say that I'm career counseling per se, but I say that having a first hand experience at doing these courses, then B schools and whatever I'm doing, teaching at colleges and all, B schools and IIMs and IITs and all of that. So वो जो first hand experience है आप जो guide करते हो, and just doing it as a counselor, there's a huge difference.
Right.
Because अगर आप CA फाइनल दिए हो या CFA किए हो तो आपको समझ में आएगा कि what is the pressure, what is the content, what is the difficulty level, जो कि एक बाहर वाले इंसान को नहीं समझ में आएगा.
Right.
उस डेप्थ में.
Right.
So that is the reason why I ended up studying and पढ़ने का शौक भी है.
Okay. So you decided all this after coming to college?
No, so when I was in first year, CA foundation, CS foundation happened immediately after class 12.
Right, exactly.
So 12 हुआ मार्च में and May June में दोनों एग्जाम हुए. Inter happened in the next year May and June again. CA Inter, CS Inter. CA Inter के बाद समझ में आया कि I want to study finance.
Okay.
And ये भी समझ में आया कि कुछ subjects नहीं होंगे, like tax is not something that I enjoy. Audit law I like, but not that I want to make a career in it.
Right.
And cost was very interesting. Finance was super interesting. And then cost, and then accounts, and then the other subjects. Tax at the bottom. So I understood कि ये करना है और ये नहीं करना है. So that is when I further studied in finance. फिर मैंने job के साथ 6-7 months I worked, and उसमें भी मैं फिर CA कर रहा था. And उसके बाद फिर बाकी courses also happened.
Okay.
So things kept happening.
Eventually, yeah. Okay.
So I've been studying with work.
So you had a morning college, 6.
Yes, 6 o'clock in the morning college.
Yeah, that was the most difficult degree you did. I think you said.
मैंने एक जगह बताया था कि मतलब एकदम ब्रह्म मुहूर्त के बाद का समय, सुबह का समय I'm spending on 6 to 10 o'clock in the college. 3 years. उतना तो पता नहीं किसी और चीज के लिए किया है कि नहीं.
Exactly. And after morning college, you were preparing for all the exams.
Yes.
So sir, mostly when we hear college, हम लोग को ऐसे लगता है कॉलेज टाइम है जहाँ पे हम जाएंगे, फन करेंगे, हम चिल करेंगे अपने फ्रेंड्स के साथ.
So you have to stop watching Karan Johar movies. Yes. Student of the year is not how world works.
Yeah, so, but maybe to some extent.
Yeah.
But do you ever regret that आपने अपने कॉलेज में वो फन मिस कर दिया? Maybe because of all.
Not at all. कॉलेज के टाइम पे बहुत ज्यादा टाइम पास हुआ था. अब there were people who were involved with certain activities. So मैं किसी क्लब या सोसाइटी का पार्ट नहीं था. But my friends were there and I was participating in every single club and society events.
Okay.
And I was going out, Pune, Bangalore, ये सब जगह पे जा रहे थे फेस्ट के लिए. So it's not that I was just inside the classroom and doing nothing. In the classroom, I was fairly a backbencher. In fact, third year में I took up marketing क्योंकि मेरे सारे friends भी marketing ले लिए. And that was not the deciding criteria, but the fact that कि CA चल रहा था, फिर CFA start कर लिया था college के end की तरफ, तो फिर there was nothing much extra that was to be done in finance in the college. So I took up marketing as my major in the third year. So I was like कि कुछ different पढ़ेंगे and friends भी साथ में हो जाएंगे, तो it will be a good talking point in doing this. So we had a lot of fun. And exam होता था suppose May या June में. उसके बाद जुलाई में almost every day I used to be like me and my friends, we were like forum में 10 o'clock 100 रुपए का movie ticket होता था and we would be watching the shows and all. हाँ, but exam आया नवंबर में तो सितंबर अक्टूबर नवंबर nothing doing.
Okay.
तो उस समय अब किसी का बर्थडे है या कॉलेज में कुछ आउटिंग हो रहा है, भाड़ में गया सब कुछ, आई एम स्टडिंग एट होम. So वो प्लान वैसा करना होता है कि every 6 months you're kind of having 2 or 3 exams, college exams are also there.
Right.
So you have to understand कि कब you want to give time to fun and कब नहीं. So college events भी होते थे तो जनवरी फरवरी में फेस्ट में जा रहे थे, लेकिन मार्च में भी I think we did inertia करके एक फेस्ट, that was in March in my time. So depending on the timing of the exams, you have to prioritize your college events,
right,
and also your merrymaking and everything. So yeah, so no regrets, absolutely not.
No regrets. Okay.
नहीं बिल्कुल भी नहीं.
Sir, you also mentioned somewhere that कि जब आप अपना FRM का preparation कर रहे थे, आप already 3 students को पढ़ा रहे थे for CFA.
Yeah.
So you started teaching very early in your life.
Yes.
But after that, you had a lot of qualifications, and you could have easily landed at the top paying companies.
Fair enough.
So after all that, after having so many qualifications, why did you choose teaching over everything else?
So I got placed through CA campus placement, and the role was in the MIS budgeting and forecasting department in Ken India, जो कि oil and gas में है.
Okay.
मैंने दिल्ली से campus placement लिया था, and in fact दिल्ली से इसलिए लिया था because वहाँ पर एक investment banking आ रहा था, ऑस्ट्रेलिया का एक investment banking company है.
Okay.
But I did not get shortlisted somehow for that company, and that's the reason why I applied for the Delhi campus. एंड उसके बाद जब कैंपस प्लेसमेंट्स हुए, सो आई गॉट वन ऑफ द बेस्ट प्लेसमेंट्स. सो आई थिंक ITC was the best placement and Ken India was the second best placement.
Okay.
So I got through Ken India. ITC also I was not shortlisted. Uske baad, I think ITC does not shortlist anybody who's not a Big Four articleship done.
Okay.
And even Ken India prefer that. Baki jo teen CAs select huए थे, they were all from Big Four articleship.
Okay.
I was the only one who had this exception, I believe. And so that was so वो Ken India का वैसे selection हुआ. And उसके बाद में भी I was working and the profile was very very good. उसके पहले मैं डाइनिंग टेबल पे, जैसे आपने बताया, FRM के एग्जाम के साथ में आई हैड टॉट 3 स्टूडेंट्स एट द डाइनिंग टेबल एट होम. उसके बाद में भी मैंने एक दो बैच कलकत्ता में पढ़ाए थे, पार्ट टाइम जॉब एंड वैसे करके. बट व्हेन आई वाज देयर इन दिल्ली फॉर अबाउट 7 मंथ्स आई वर्कड, एंड उसके साथ भी मैं वीकेंड्स पर पढ़ा रहा था. सो मंडे टू फ्राइडे वाज जॉब एंड सैटरडे संडे आई वाज टीचिंग.
Okay.
एंड सैटरडे संडे बाकी लोगों को गेटअवेज एंड ट्रिप्स चाहिए होता है,
Yeah.
बट आई वाज thoroughly enjoying being in the classroom.
Okay.
And I was 22 or 23, and all the students were in their late 20s or 30s and all, and they were working in positions where I was probably looking forward to.
Okay.
BlackRock and all of these companies ki yahan par ultimately I want to move and switch towards these roles and all. But I was enjoying my weekend so much. I was like, it's okay, let me take a call, let me take a break from a job, get back to Calcutta and start afresh. So the first few years were difficult. I did a lot of cold calling, guest lectures, colleges, corporate trainings, consulting work, bahut kuch. And that is why I'm also, we have a consulting company and
Yes.
we're doing all of those
Yeah.
things today as well. And I think teaching just came inherently. School के समय या college के समय ऐसा कुछ सोचा हुआ नहीं था कि I'm going to get into teaching full time.
Okay.
And it was pretty chalked out for me, that this is what I'm going to do. But shock tha, and I somehow feel it comes naturally to me the moment I'm in the classroom. And yeah, so I was like, जब मैं enjoy कर रहा हूँ अपने weekend को, I don't want to take a getaway or a
Yeah.
holiday, rather be in the classroom.
Yeah.
Might as well make it my full-time profession.
Right. How did you feel when you were teaching someone who was elder to you? When generally we see it's the opposite.
Yes,
Obviously.
of course.
Yeah.
नहीं तो अभी भी मेरे स्टूडेंट्स हैं जो मुझसे बहुत उम्र में बड़े हैं और एक्सपीरियंस में भी बड़े हैं, लेकिन उनका एक्सपीरियंस उनके प्रोफाइल या उनके फील्ड में है. माय एक्सपीरियंस एंड माय एक्सपर्टीज इज इन माय सब्जेक्ट एंड माय टीचिंग. So
Right.
one is your knowledge, where is your understanding of the subject,
Right.
and second is your ability to communicate in an interesting manner to make somebody understand. That is a teaching aspect. So वो मेरा expertise है. So I'll give you two examples. So one of the first guest lectures I took in a college over here. So when I entered the classroom and I was there and the students were sitting, and so principal came in and he's like, go take your seat. So I was like, I'm going to be the teacher, I'm teaching in the class. So so that was nice. And उसके बाद एक और बैच हुआ था जहाँ पर मिलिट्री में जो मिलिट्री
हाँ,
पर्सनल
हाँ.
है, तो उनको भी उनके करियर में एक छोटे समय के लिए 6 months to 2 years का they do their education part.
Okay.
So in a college I took a batch where everybody was almost double my age.
Wow.
And they were all, I was scared like captain and military brigadier and all those people in the classroom. And they chose a program and I was teaching bit of Excel and PPT and all of
Okay.
that. And so that was also very very interesting experience and they were so courteous. And मेरी जो पहली स्टूडेंट है वो क्वालिफाइड चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट थी जब मैं उनको CFA level 1 पढ़ा रहा था.
Right.
And मेरा CA final due था उस समय.
Okay.
So she never made me feel that I am more qualified than you, because वो मुझसे फाइनेंस पढ़ने आई थी.
Yeah, exactly.
वो मेरा एक्सपर्टीज है.
Right.
So if your subject knowledge, if your knowledge base is good, so even if you hesitate maybe in the first 5 minutes of a lecture, let's say, but you are eventually going to do very well.
Right.
And I believe that my first student Nikudi, so she's elder to me, I call her Dee.
Yeah.
And so I think I've got a lot of encouragement. And see, if people are liking your class, they don't care about your
Yeah,
age.
exactly. Obviously.
So I think that's what happened. Even in Delhi, when I was teaching on the weekends, people were super happy, and we used to hang out after class.
Okay.
So because we're all kind of in that age
Right.
bracket,
Right. Obviously.
so we're having a very very good time.
So one more question which a lot of students wanted to ask you, कि जब we think about you, we think that you have a very very packed schedule.
Yeah.
So today we want you to walk us through your day and give a little sneak peek in your daily routine.
Okay, so this is going to be very tough because मेरा routine बहुत ही erratic है, and I'm still trying to structure how it works. So Saturday Sunday is pretty sorted.
Okay.
Because in the morning I'm studying, and reading or studying depending on क्या पढ़ाना है, अगर नया टॉपिक है
Okay.
कि रेगुलर
Right.
टॉपिक है, just browsing through, and पूरे दिन क्लास रहता है.
Okay.
And Friday night and Saturday night, I just do not go out because Saturday and Sunday I have class, and I
Okay.
do not want to be tired or exhausted in the classroom.
Right.
Sunday sham ko I'm generally out, either sister or friends or something or the other. And at times I'm also at home if I don't want to go out. I don't go out much. And Monday to Friday, again, it depends. I can have some extra classes during the weekdays. I can have office work during the weekdays. If it is office, I generally want to go a little late in the afternoon
Okay.
because I start studying, working, thinking, writing at 6 or 7 in the morning itself on my table.
So when
So-
do you wake up?
अगेन अगर बहुत ट्रैवलिंग हो रहा है तो टाइमिंग थोड़ा खराब हो जाता है, बट अदरवाइज नॉर्मली बिफोर 6.
Okay.
Also it depends, your waking up schedule is supposed to be based on whether it's a summer month or winter month.
Okay.
So summer you're supposed to be waking up earlier than what you wake up in winters.
Okay.
So but normally 6 के पहले is what I target, and वो अपने आप नींद खुलता है. I don't use the alarm clock, so I want to wake up at the right time.
So is this because you are in the morning college और आपका habit हो गया वैसा?
नहीं, not exactly that, because even बचपन में I remember even class 2-3 के टाइम पे सुबह पढ़ते थे. Biologically हम लोग human beings हैं, we are supposed
Yeah.
to be studying in the morning.
Right.
So वो जो अगर कोई बोलता है ना I'm a night person, so there is a identity issue. If you read Atomic Habits, you'll understand.
Yes.
So biologically you are wired to do your work in the morning and wake up early in the
Right.
morning. So आप कैसे देखते हो कि सारे पक्षी and सारे all the animals and everybody is able to wake up with the
Right.
sunrise.
Right.
So your sleep and your rhythm and everything is very aligned to the sun.
Exactly. I was going to
So,
say that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I try to make sure that I'm waking up early in the morning.
Okay.
ट्रैवल एंड ऑल के कारण कभी कभी कुछ कमिटमेंट्स के कारण अगर लेट हो जा रहे हैं उसके कारण कभी कभी डिस्टर्ब होता है मॉर्निंग का टाइम, बट देन आई ट्राई टू गेट बैक ऑन ट्रैक एज सून एज पॉसिबल.
Okay. So you in your daily routine you mentioned that you don't like to go out. You
Not
much.
I
not
travel.
much. Yeah.
I like to travel. So if I'm going
Yeah.
to any college, for example, so मैं एक दिन plus या minus करके आगे पीछे, or I'm traveling for work or whatever. So I would try to do a little bit of extra time. In fact, holidays पर भी friends हैं या family हैं. So if they're going out at night, and if I'm not interested in whatever they're doing, so I'll skip that bit. I'll wake up in the morning at 5, go touring the city.
Okay.
मतलब कोई बाइक बुक कर लेता हूँ जनरली और बाइक वाले के पीछे बैठ करके पूरा सिटी घूमता हूँ. So I enjoy doing all of that.
Okay. I know that you love traveling. So do you think that traveling teaches us a lot?
Of course, but then आप travel कैसे कर रहे हो उसके ऊपर भी डिपेंड करेगा.
हाँ,
And what are you doing when you're traveling? So you observe, you see how people behave, you talk to people from different places, different cultures.
Right.
You need to observe, you need to have a conversation, and it should not be just about sightseeing bhi hai. So you see technology, you see a lot of things.
Right.
So I've traveled within India also, although not as much as I would want to, and I've traveled outside India a bit as well. And उसमें उनका टेक्नोलॉजी ऑब्जर्व करना, लोगों से बात करना. And मैं किसी भी जगह पे जा रहा हूँ, even if I'm going for a holiday with family or friends,
Right.
I'll try to take out a day visiting colleges, meeting students. So
Okay.
I've done meetups even in Dubai, London, Bangkok, and Nepal, and all those places. I met somebody in the startup space in Bhutan when I was there.
Okay.
So I would try to make it a point कि मैं वहाँ अलग से शायद उनसे मिलने नहीं जाऊंगा भूटान में for a startup space.
Obviously.
But if I'm going there, I'll make it a point to take out some time and do a little bit of homework.
Right.
And visiting colleges and understanding how things work over there, meeting professors in different, IITs and IIMs and colleges in India, as well as when I'm going abroad.
Okay. Okay. So, sir, when we are kids, we think of the most obnoxious thing. So, when I was a kid, I used to think, what if the world around me just stops?
Okay.
And I would get the free time to do anything I want.
Correct.
So, I would love to sit in front of the TV and watch Shin Chan because that is my favorite cartoon. If you get all the free time of the world,
I watch quite a bit of Shin Chan too.
and you are not allowed to work, but
Okay.
what would you do?
Read. Simple. There's
Okay.
nothing to think about. Read a lot
Okay.
of scriptures, a lot of non-fiction, and then a bit of fiction as well. But read.
Okay, great. When we are on this topic of reading, you have mentioned several times that you follow the teachings of Bhagavad Gita,
Yes.
and
Try
you
to.
yes, and you recommend everyone around you to read Bhagavad Gita
Yes.
at least once.
100%.
So, sir, when we meet a person like you who wants to take knowledge of everything,
Yes.
they are generally more practical in life,
Correct.
and they see everything through the lens of science.
Correct.
So, what made you so spiritual? Was it your family background, or was it a story in your life? How exactly that happened?
So, family background, I believe, does help.
Okay.
I would not deny it. But my reading of the scriptures actually did not come much from the family. I've seen my mother reading the Ramayana and the Ramcharitmanas while growing up, and my father as well. Uh, but सबका अपना journey होता है in terms of spirituality and in
Yeah.
terms of worship and the way they want.
Right.
So I have a more curious mind where I want to learn, I want to read, and I want to analyze, and I want to logically think about things.
Right.
And I have seen the Bhagavad Gita particularly, aligning with almost all the self-help books that I've read. So there's this one book, The Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Franklin, if I'm not wrong. So he was, suffering in the Holocaust, and he was captured by the Nazis and everything. And after he got out, he wrote his book and this book and his journey and everything.
Okay.
And I see all the learnings and all the experiences in that book sourced from the Gita.
Okay.
Or when I'm looking at Dr. Spencer Johnson's book on peaks and valleys, I see there's just one shlok in the Gita which summarizes that. So
Okay.
ultimately सारा चीज सोर्स गीता से है. ये एक्चुअली बहुत ही इनकरेक्ट वे में सिखाया गया है स्टूडेंट्स को. बहुत गलत हिस्ट्री पढ़ाया है स्कूल में भी हमें.
Right.
एंड नॉट द स्कूल्स फॉल्ट बट द वे द सिस्टम इज. हिस्ट्री बोलिए या बहुत सारी चीजें हैं. सो ये आपके मन में डाला गया है कि स्पिरिचुअलिटी है या आपके ट्रेडिशंस हैं या फिर आपका कल्चर और स्क्रिप्चर्स है, दैट इज ऑर्थोडॉक्स, दैट इज
Right.
नॉट अलाइंड विद साइंस. ये हमारा मेंटालिटी बनाया गया है through years of education.
Right.
So you read about how Macaulay wanted to capture the education space and the mindset of the people in India during the Britishers' time to turn it into a colony.
Yeah.
So आप वो mindset को capture करना चाहते हो. So आपका culture, आपका scriptures science से विपरीत नहीं है, but rather it is way more aligned.
Exactly.
And there are so many examples that I could give you which aligns you. And when I'm talking about the Bhagavad Gita, it is absolutely talking about life management, and it has got nothing about the traditional way of doing a puja or something.
Right.
But it is more about your life and life management.
Exactly.
अभी मैं एक स्टूडेंट से बात कर रहा था. So right now I'm reading the हिंदी ट्रांसलेशन वाल्मीकि जी की रामायण की.
Okay.
परीटो प्रिंसिपल का भी कॉन्सेप्ट उसमें है, जहां पर भरत राम को लेने आए and राम जी पूछ रहे हैं भरत को क्या, he is asking, are you doing 1 2 3 4 5 20 things or not?
Yeah.
There's another book. So out of that, in one of them, there is Pareto also. He's mentioned that are you focusing on those activities which gives you the maximum amount of outcome?
Yes. Yes.
So that is Pareto concept,
Yes.
80-20 principle
Yeah.
that we talk about.
Yeah.
So it is unfortunate that the alignment of students' thought process and the generation's thought process is that if you're reading the scriptures, you're not modern,
Right.
or you're orthodox, or you're unscientific. Rather, आप जितनी भी चीजों को देखेंगे, most of the so आप ग्रेविटी का बात करते हैं या आप जीरो का बात करते हैं, they were all I don't know how to put it, तपस्वी बोलेंगे या उनको, they were all the ones who would read scriptures जिन्होंने ये सारी scientific
लिखी,
discoveries की
exactly.
हैं before even Newton or anybody did
Yes.
that.
Yes.
So it's all there available. It's
Yes.
just that we've not been able to market it or patent it or something,
Exactly.
So
Do you
yeah,
do you think that Gita should be incorporated in our syllabus
100%.
so that everyone gets to know about this?
Absolutely.
And I personally also think that Gita gives you more life teachings than any other self-help book can.
So as I said, that all the self-help books, ultimately you will see that it is going to be somewhere sourced from the Gita.
Right.
And there are a lot of incomplete versions of positivity and gratitude that people practice. So incomplete versions, I'm not saying it's incorrect,
Yeah.
but it's incomplete version. जैसे एक पेन किलर काम करेगा लेकिन वो आपका रूट कॉज को ठीक नहीं
ठीक नहीं
करेगा.
करेगा.
So that is how the Gita is in terms of life management.
Right. Sir, when we look at your life, we think that it is all roses. Because obviously, because consultancy company, you are running a consultancy company, you have so many degrees, you help tens of thousands of students every day. But sir, we also know that no rose can come without its thorns.
Okay.
So, do you ever faced any situation where you gave your 100% but still failed?
So ऐसे बहुत सारे सिचुएशन हो सकते हैं. So okay, so the earliest that I could think of is that I got a rank in CA Inter, but even then Big Four से आर्टिकलशिप से एक भी कॉल नहीं आया.
Right.
अगर इंटरव्यू कॉल आता मैं नहीं कन्वर्ट कर पाता तो then it would have been fine, because then there's somewhere I have gone wrong.
Right.
Maybe I'm good at studies but not on the other aspects, the softer side of things, cracking an interview or so. I would have worked on it, but I did not get that opportunity, and I believed I had earned that opportunity.
Right.
So that was, I think, the first failure that I had experienced in my career. that I remember. And उस समय Big Four का articleship होना would be a big deal in college.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, तुम्हारा तो obviously होगा.
Right.
So, you're like, okay, is it jinxed or something like that? And so that was the first one. And I think I did not take it well, in the sense that I was like, okay, I just want to keep my mouth shut and I want to work more hard.
Okay.
So then I was like, I was participating a lot in the college. I was putting in and I was directing all my effort in terms of doing more.
Okay.
So I think that was one instance that I remember correctly. Then even with the CA final के बाद में जो campus placements थे, तो उस समय पर भी I told you Australian bank, I think it was Macquarie, and they did not shortlist me. Later on I realized that it was good that I did not get shortlisted because उनका जो role था that was not something I was looking at. So वो एक अलग role के लिए आए थे and उस समय role पता नहीं था. Even the Big Four not happening was worked in my favor because I had more time. Because वहाँ पर obviously the working hours are more grueling. So and मुझे tax and audit नहीं करना था, and I was able to, along with articleship, do multiple things,
Right.
in including participating in college events and everything. So I think that also worked in favor. उस समय गीता नहीं पढ़ रहा था, वो तो 2020 में जब COVID lockdown happened in March. Fortunately, I had the copy of Gita with me. So somebody recommended me to read read Sridharan's autobiography.
Okay.
The biography is about the metro man. So he was instrumental in getting the metro built in Delhi and everything.
Okay.
वो भी इंडिया में without मतलब within cost and within time frame.
Okay.
उस तरह का मेट्रो बिल्ड करना, तो वो अपनी मैनेजमेंट टीम को गीता गिफ्ट करते थे और बोलते थे पढ़ने के लिए.
Okay.
So it is about management, life decisions. So somebody mentored me and guided me to read this.
Okay.
So COVID के समय से I started reading, and it has just been again increasing, and it's been my own curiosity to get in more understanding of it. So when I look back and I understand, if things did not work out, it did not work out for the best. We also made a major shift in 2023 September. Our office, our infra, our entire structure, company wise and everything changed, and again from scratch. So that also, in the hindsight, it is great that it happened. And there's so much of learning that you do.
Right.
So difficult times will make you stronger. वो बोलते हैं ना कि difficult times make strong men.
Yes.
And आगे का quote मुझे याद नहीं है, but geopolitically that's very relevant right now. So yeah, so it's your fair share, but to deal with it, to approach it in a way which the Gita and the scriptures teaches you. For example, मैं जब वो पढ़ा कि राम जी was supposed to be coronated as a king.
Yeah.
And सुबह 4 बजे 5 बजे आपको राज्य मिलने वाला है, and उसी रात को you've been told you have to, आपको वनवास जाना है.
Yes.
मतलब imagine आप अपना luxury सोचो, he's a king, and वो luxuries छोड़ करके you're going, and then there is an argument, not argument, there is a debate or a discussion with Kaushalya ji and Lakshman as well. And so when you read that debate, when you understand his mindset and why he did what he did, so अब आप सोचिए joint families में properties लेके झगड़े, अब उसमें होता है कि somebody you have to start your life from scratch at some point of time, and तब आप सोचो कि how you deal with that pressure.
Right.
So these are the kind of things that these scriptures teach you कि difficult से difficult time में how is your mindset supposed to be, आपको सोचना किस तरीके से चाहिए, how should you react, how should you take a decision. So that is where these things come into play.
एंड इट इज ऑल्सो कि रामायण महाभारत की जो भी स्टोरीज है, जितनी भी छोटी स्टोरीज है, उसमें कहीं ना कहीं हर एक मतलब कहीं ना कहीं लर्निंग है ही.
Amazing learning.
So this was it for today's conversation, and I'm sure that our audience is going to learn a lot from this podcast, and especially they are going to know the real Aswini Bajaj, hopefully. And it was such a great conversation. I'm so happy that you agreed to come to our podcast.
Absolutely.
How was your experience?
So I'm very happy, and I've been coming to your college for the last more than 12, I think 10, 12 years or so.
Yeah.
And at the beginning, when I was just starting off teaching and all, your dean has always been, very, very supportive and encouraging. So it's very important, जब आप शुरुआत कर रहे हो, उस समय जब आपको लोग support करें, and when they believe in you.
Right.
So Dilip sir has always had a lot of belief in me from the very beginning. So that is something that I'll always be grateful for. And I'm so happy that you did the session, because before the session started, I did not know that you were studying with me.
Yeah.
So happy to know that, and so happy to have this conversation with you.
Thank you so much, sir.
My pleasure.